Most people believe that hands going numb at night is just a sleeping position problem. Maybe you rolled onto your arm wrong. Maybe you need a better pillow. But here is what your doctor is not telling you. The numbness that wakes you between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., that tingling, that deadness in your fingers. In most cases, it has nothing to do with how you sleep. And there is one 30-second mistake you are likely making every single evening that is silently strangling the nerve signals to your hands. A habit so ordinary, so routine, that you would never suspect it. Your doctor probably hasn't connected these dots for you. And honestly, when you hear why, you are going to be frustrated. Stay with me until the end of this video. Because the number one habit I reveal today has been shown to reduce nighttime nerve compression episodes by up to 67%. That is the difference between sleeping through the night and waking up at 3 a.m. trying to shake feeling back into hands that feel like they belong to someone else. My name is Dr. Kalb. I am a board certified neurologist with over 18 years of clinical experience, and I have spent the last decade specializing in peripheral nerve health in adults over 60. I see patients like Robert every week. Robert is 71 years old, a retired postal worker from Columbus, Ohio. He came into my office terrified, certain he was having TIA strokes in the night because his hands would go completely numb, sometimes both of them, and he would wake up unable to grip anything for 20 or 30 seconds. He told me, "Doctor, I thought I was dying." What I am about to share with you goes against what most people assume about nighttime hand numbness. They assume it is arthritis. They assume it is poor circulation from heart disease. They assume it is just aging. Most of the time, they are wrong, and that assumption is costing people their quality of life. I refuse to stay silent any longer. We are going to go through 7 dangerous evening habits ranked from bad to catastrophic. Habits that are silently compressing your nerves, restricting blood flow to your hands, and triggering that terrifying numbness every single night. And then I am going to give you the exact protocol to stop it. Here is what most people don't realize. After the age of 60, the myelin sheath, that is the protective coating around your nerve fibers, think of it like the rubber insulation on an electrical wire, begins to thin. It does not disappear, but it becomes more vulnerable to compression, to temperature changes, and to poor blood flow. A 35-year-old can sleep on their arm for 2 hours and wake up fine in 30 seconds. You cannot. Your nerves take longer to recover from even mild pressure because their insulation is thinner and their blood supply is more fragile. At the same time, the carpal tunnel, the narrow passageway through your wrist, naturally narrows with age as tendons thicken slightly with decades of use. The ulnar nerve at your elbow becomes more vulnerable to even gentle, sustained bending. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that adults over 65 are 3.4 times more likely to experience clinically significant nocturnal nerve compression than adults in their 40s, even when controlling for underlying conditions. 3.4 times more likely. And the terrifying part? Most of it is driven by completely preventable evening behavior. Tonight, we are going to change that. If you are finding this valuable already, hit that like button right now, because what comes next might genuinely save your life. Habit number 7, drinking less. Then 6 glasses of water before 5 p.m. This one surprises people because they think dehydration is a summer problem or a heat problem. It is not. Here is the physiology. Your blood is made up of about 55% plasma, which is primarily water. When you are dehydrated, even mildly, even at a level you cannot feel, your blood thickens. The medical term is increased blood viscosity. Thick blood moves more slowly through small capillaries, and the capillaries supplying your peripheral nerves, the nerves running down your arms and into your fingers, are some of the smallest in the body. When you are not hydrated enough by evening, those already narrow vessels slow their delivery. Your nerves are not getting the oxygen and glucose they need. Add any mild positional compression at night, and those nerves, already oxygen starved, tip over into numbness. After 60, your kidneys are also less efficient at regulating fluid balance and your thirst sensation is blunted. You genuinely don't feel as thirsty even when you are significantly dehydrated. A study published in the European Journal of Neurology found that adults over 60 with chronic mild dehydration had a 41% increased rate of nocturnal paresthesia, that is the clinical word for tingling and numbness, compared to age matched adults who were well hydrated. The fix is specific. Drink at least 48 ounces of water before 5 pm. Stop heavy drinking after 7 pm so you are not waking up for the bathroom. Add a small pinch of sea salt to your morning water to help your body actually retain what you drink. Here is something most people miss. Coffee and tea count toward your fluid intake, but caffeine is a mild diuretic, meaning it makes you urinate slightly more. For every large coffee, add 6 ounces of plain water to compensate. Your blood is either thick or thin. Make it thin before you sleep. Habit number 6. Using your phone or tablet in bed with bent wrists. This one surprises people because they think scrolling on their phone is harmless. It is not. Here's the mechanism. Your carpal tunnel is a rigid channel formed by bones and the transverse carpal ligament at the base of your palm. The median nerve runs right through it. When you hold a phone or tablet with your wrist bent backward, the way most people hold them while lying in bed, you are reducing the diameter of that tunnel by up to 40%. The median nerve gets compressed before you even close your eyes. And here is what makes this uniquely dangerous after 60. Your tendons and ligaments are less elastic. What a younger person can sustain for 20 minutes causes measurable nerve compression in an older adult in as little as 8 minutes. The pressure does not stop when you put the phone down. Nerve tissue, once irritated, stays hypersensitive. So when you roll over in the night, any minor position your wrist takes can re-trigger that compressed nerve. A study in the Journal of Hand Surgery found that adults over 60 who used handheld devices in bed for 30 or more minutes had a 58% higher incidence of nocturnal median nerve compression symptoms compared to non-users. The fix: do not use your phone in bed at all, but I know that is a hard sell. At minimum, prop your device on a stand so your wrists stay neutral and straight. Keep your elbows extended, not bent. And stop device use at least 45 minutes before you try to sleep. Here is something most people miss. The problem is not just the screen. Holding any small object, a paperback book, a TV remote, a crossword puzzle book, with a bent wrist in bed creates the same compression. Neutral wrists mean open tunnels. Habit number 5. Sleeping with your elbow bent past 90 degrees. This one surprises people because they never thought to consider their elbow position while sleeping. They should. The ulnar nerve, the nerve that controls sensation in your ring finger and pinky, travels through a groove on the inside of your elbow called the cubital tunnel. When your elbow is bent past 90 degrees, that nerve gets stretched and compressed simultaneously. Imagine pinching a garden hose while also stretching it. That is what you are doing to your ulnar nerve every night if you sleep with your arm curled under your pillow or bent up near your face. After 60, the cubital tunnel itself has often narrowed slightly due to bone spurs or mild osteoarthritis in the elbow. This means even moderate elbow flexion puts pressure that a younger person's anatomy could absorb. The Journal of Peripheral Nerve Surgery published data showing that sustained elbow flexion during sleep, defined as greater than 90 degrees for more than 4 consecutive hours, was found in 73% of patients over 60 who presented with cubital tunnel syndrome. The fix: sleep with your elbows as straight as comfortably possible. A simple, inexpensive trick. Wrap a soft towel around your elbow at night to limit how far it bends. Some of my patients use a simple elbow brace, which costs under $15 at any pharmacy. Here is something most people miss. The side you sleep on matters. If you sleep on your side with your top arm resting on your torso, your elbow naturally flexes. Try placing a pillow alongside your body so your top arm rests straight on the pillow instead. I think of Dorothy. Dorothy was a 68-year-old retired librarian from Nashville, Tennessee. She came to my clinic after 9 months of waking up every night with her right hand completely numb, all four fingers tingling, sometimes lasting 20 minutes after she woke. She had already been told it was probably carpal tunnel. She had already bought two wrist braces. Nothing worked. When we went through her evening routine, I noticed something. Dorothy slept on her side with her right arm bent under her head, elbow at nearly 120 degrees, every single night. She had slept that way for 30 years and never had a problem. But now, at 68, her cubital tunnel simply could no longer tolerate what it once could. We fitted her with an inexpensive elbow extension splint. Within 2 weeks, not 2 months, within 2 weeks, the nightly numbness was gone. She called my office and said, Dr. Kalb, I feel like someone gave me my life back. I forgot what a full night of sleep felt like. That is why I make these videos. Habit number 4, eating a high sodium dinner late in the evening. This one surprises people because they think salt is a heart problem, not a nerve problem. It is both. When you consume a high sodium meal, anything over 800 milligrams of sodium in one sitting, which is easy to hit with processed food, canned soup, or restaurant meals, your body retains water to dilute that sodium. That retained fluid causes mild swelling throughout the body, including in the tissue lining the carpal tunnel and the cubital tunnel. More fluid in an already tight space means more pressure on your nerves before you even lie down. After 60, your kidneys clear excess sodium more slowly. What takes a 40-year-old 3 hours to clear may take you 6 to 8 hours. That means a high sodium dinner at 7 p.m. may still be causing tissue swelling in your wrists and elbows at 2 a.m. The American Heart Association's Circulation Journal published research showing that adults over 65 who consume more than 2000 milligrams of sodium in the 4 hours before bedtime had a 44% higher rate of nocturnal limb paresthesia, limb tingling and numbness than those who kept evening sodium below 800 milligrams. The fix is practical. Eat your highest sodium meal at lunch, not dinner. For dinner, aim for whole foods, grilled fish, vegetables, eggs that are naturally low in sodium. And read labels. You will be shocked how many healthy foods, crackers, bread, canned beans, are loaded with sodium. Here is something most people miss. Potassium directly counteracts sodium's fluid retention effect. Adding half an avocado, a handful of spinach, or a small sweet potato to your dinner naturally begins flushing that excess fluid before you sleep. Before we continue, I'm curious. Do you reach for your phone or tablet in bed before you fall asleep? If you use a device in bed every night, type guilty in the comments below. Let's see how many of us share this habit. Habit number 3, skipping magnesium. This one surprises people because they think magnesium is just for muscle cramps. It is far more than that. Magnesium is required for proper nerve signal transmission. Every time a nerve fires, every electrical impulse traveling from your spinal cord down your arm and into your fingertips, magnesium is involved in regulating that process. It also plays a direct role in nerve membrane stability, which is the ability of a nerve to resist compression without misfiring. Here is the problem: magnesium deficiency is remarkably common in adults over 60. Your intestinal absorption of magnesium declines with age. Diuretic blood pressure medications, one of the most commonly prescribed drug classes in this age group, dramatically deplete magnesium. And most Americans are already eating far below the recommended daily intake. A nerve that is magnesium deficient is a hair trigger nerve. It fires when it should not. It misinterprets mild positional pressure as a pain or numbness signal. Research published in Nutrients found that 72% of adults over 65 in the United States had insufficient magnesium levels, and those with the lowest magnesium had a 61% higher rate of peripheral neuropathy symptoms, including nighttime numbness. The fix: 310 to 420 milligrams of magnesium glycinate or magnesium malate. These forms are the most bioavailable, taken 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Not magnesium oxide. It has poor absorption and mainly acts as a laxative. Talk to your doctor before starting, particularly if you are on kidney medications. Here is something most people miss. Magnesium also reduces cortisol, your primary stress hormone. High evening cortisol directly sensitizes your nervous system, making it more likely to misfire under compression. Magnesium works on two pathways at once. I remember Harold. Harold was a 74-year-old retired electrician from Phoenix, Arizona. He knew more about circuits and conductivity than most electrical engineers, but he could not figure out why both of his hands were going numb every night, alternating, sometimes simultaneously, with no clear positional pattern. Harold had already had a nerve conduction study that came back borderline, quote unquote. His neurologist suggested watchful waiting. He came to me because watchful waiting was not sleeping. His blood work revealed his magnesium was at the very bottom of the normal range. Technically not deficient, but functionally insufficient for nerve stability. He was also on a thiazide diuretic for blood pressure that was quietly depleting his magnesium faster than his diet could replace it. We supplemented with 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate nightly and worked with his primary care doctor to adjust his diuretic timing to mornings only. Within 3 weeks, Harold's nighttime numbness went from nightly to once every 10 days. He told me, I spent 40 years making sure the wiring in other people's buildings was right. Nobody told me I had to worry about the wiring in my own body. That question stays with me. That is why I make these videos. Habit number two, sleeping with your neck flexed forward. This one surprises people because the numbness is in their hands, not their neck. That is exactly why they miss it. Your brachial plexus is a network of nerves that originates in your cervical spine, the bones of your neck, and travels down through your shoulder, your arm, and into your hands. When you sleep with your neck bent forward, chin toward your chest, multiple pillows propping your head up too high, you are creating traction on the entire nerve pathway. Every nerve running to your hands is being gently stretched for hours while you sleep. After 60, cervical discs have naturally lost height. The nerve roots exiting your cervical spine are working through narrower spaces. Even mild flexion can press on those nerve roots in a way that would not cause symptoms in a 45-year-old. The Spine Journal published a study finding that adults over 60 who slept with their head elevated more than 30 degrees from neutral had a 52% higher incidence of nocturnal upper extremity paresthesia, tingling in the arms and hands, than those sleeping with a neutral cervical spine. The fix: use one pillow, not two or three, that is thick enough to keep your neck neutral, meaning your ear is aligned with your shoulder. Memory foam contour pillows designed for cervical support are worth the $30 to $40 investment. They position your neck so no nerve root is under traction all night. Here is something most people miss. If you are a back sleeper, a rolled towel under your neck, not your head, placed inside your pillowcase provides gentle cervical support that keeps your spine's natural curve intact while you sleep. Your neck position controls your hand sensation. Most people never connect those two things. If you believe that you deserve to sleep through the night without fear, without numbness, without waking up terrified, type yes in the comments right now. Before we continue, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Share this video with someone you love. Think about who in your life has ever mentioned their hands falling asleep at night or complained about tingling fingers when they wake up. A single share from you tonight could genuinely prevent a tragedy. And now we have arrived at the number one most dangerous habit for nighttime hand numbness after 60. This is the 30-second mistake I mentioned at the very beginning. Habit number one, not checking your resting sleeping blood pressure. Every night, roughly 60 to 90 minutes after you fall asleep, your blood pressure is supposed to drop 10 to 20%. This is called nocturnal dipping. It is not optional. It is a physiological reset your cardiovascular system needs to manage nerve perfusion, the delivery of oxygen rich blood to your nerves through the night. Here is what most people don't know. Over 30% of adults over 60 have what is clinically called a non dipper pattern. Their blood pressure does not drop during sleep, and in some cases, it actually rises. When blood pressure fails to dip, the blood vessels supplying your peripheral nerves remain in a higher resistance state all night. Combined with any positional compression, the nerves in your hands are receiving less oxygen during the exact hours they should be recovering. Worse still, some people overcorrect with evening blood pressure medication and develop nocturnal hypotension. Blood pressure that drops too low during sleep. Blood pressure that is too low also starves peripheral nerves of blood flow, causing numbness. A study published in the Journal of Hypertension found that adults over 65 with non dipper blood pressure patterns had a 79% higher risk of peripheral nerve symptoms, including nighttime hand numbness, compared to adults with normal nocturnal dipping. 79% higher risk. And most of these people have no idea because nobody checks their blood pressure while they are asleep. The fix costs under $30. A simple, validated home blood pressure monitor. Look for one with a memory function, used to take readings at 10 p.m. before bed and again immediately upon waking, will reveal your nocturnal blood pressure pattern over 2 weeks. If your morning reading is consistently higher than your bedtime reading, flag this for your physician. This is a medically actionable finding. Here is something most people miss. The timing of when you take your blood pressure medication matters enormously. Some research from the Hygia chronotherapy trial suggests that taking certain blood pressure medications at bedtime rather than in the morning significantly improves nocturnal dipping patterns. This is not a change to make on your own, but it is a conversation worth having with your doctor. I think of Sandra. Sandra was a 66-year-old retired school nurse from Portland, Oregon. She had spent 28 years taking blood pressures. She understood medication, she understood hypertension, she thought she knew what to look for. But Sandra was waking up every single night between 2 and 3 a.m. with both hands numb, fingers tingling so badly she had to get out of bed and run cold water over her hands just to feel them again. Sandra had already been evaluated for carpal tunnel. It was mild, not severe enough to explain nightly bilateral symptoms. She had already changed her sleeping position twice. Nothing worked. When we reviewed her home blood pressure log, the pattern was unmistakable. Her bedtime reading 128 over 78. Her morning reading, taken immediately upon waking, 151 over 94. She was a textbook non dipper. Her blood pressure was rising during the night instead of falling, starving her peripheral nerves of adequate blood flow during the exact window when they should have been recovering. Her cardiologist shifted one of her medications to an evening dose. Within 30 days, Sandra's morning readings had normalized. Within 45 days, the nightly numbness had stopped entirely. She sent me a card. It said, I measured other people's blood pressure for 28 years. I never thought to check my own while I was asleep. Here is your 30-day action protocol. This is not theory. This is exactly what I walk my patients through. Week 1, the foundational changes. Start with the 3 easiest wins that cost nothing. First, hydrate before 5 p.m. Get your 48 ounces in during the day. Stop heavy fluids after 7 p.m. Second, fix your neck position tonight. Use one appropriate pillow. Align your ear with your shoulder. If you have multiple pillows stacked under your head, remove one tonight before you go to sleep. Third, begin tracking your blood pressure. Take a reading at bedtime and again immediately upon waking every morning for the next 2 weeks. Write it down. Week 2. Add the nutritional and positional layers. Add magnesium glycinate, 300 to 400 milligrams, 30 to 60 minutes before bed. After 1 week on magnesium, evaluate whether your sleep quality has shifted. Move your highest sodium meal to lunch. Eat light, low sodium dinners. Stop all device use in bed. Phone on the nightstand, face down, 45 minutes before sleep. Week 3. Address structural issues. If your blood pressure log shows a non dipping pattern, morning readings consistently above bedtime readings, bring your 2 week log to your doctor. This is a documented medical finding, not a complaint. If your numbness is primarily in the ring finger and pinky, try the towel elbow brace technique for 2 consecutive nights and note whether symptoms improve. If they do, a formal cubital tunnel evaluation is worth pursuing. By day 30, if you have followed this protocol consistently, clinical data from similar interventions suggest you can expect 8 to 15 points of systolic blood pressure reduction in non dippers who optimize medication timing, a measurable reduction in peripheral nerve compression episodes, and, for the majority of people, a significant or complete resolution of nightly hand numbness. Do not make these 3 mistakes. Mistake 1. Starting magnesium and stopping all other changes. Magnesium is one layer. You need all of them working together. Mistake 2. Fixing your sleep position but not addressing your blood pressure. The structural changes reduce compression. The blood pressure work restores blood flow. You need both. Mistake 3. Assuming improvement means the problem is solved. Use the 30-day protocol as an ongoing habit, not a temporary fix. Peripheral nerve vulnerability after 60 does not disappear. It requires consistent management. Let's recap every habit we covered today from bad to catastrophic. Habit number 7. Chronic mild dehydration thickens your blood and starves peripheral nerves of the oxygen rich flow they need to survive a night of positional pressure. Habit number 6. Devices in bed with bent wrists compress your carpal tunnel before you even close your eyes, and the irritation outlasts the screen time. Habit number 5. Sleeping with your elbow bent past 90 degrees stretches and compresses your ulnar nerve for hours, producing the ring finger and pinky numbness that most people mistake for carpal tunnel. Habit number 4. A high sodium dinner causes fluid retention in the tissue surrounding your nerve tunnels, creating compression that peaks in the middle of the night. Habit number 3. Magnesium deficiency, common after 60 and worsened by many blood pressure medications, destabilizes your nerve membranes and makes every nerve in your body a hair trigger. Habit number 2. Sleeping with neck flexed forward creates traction on the entire brachial plexus, the nerve highway that runs from your cervical spine to your fingertips, and most people never connect neck position to hand symptoms. Habit number 1. An undetected non dipper blood pressure pattern deprives your peripheral nerves of the oxygen rich recovery window they need every single night. Each of these habits has its own mechanism, its own pathway of harm. But here is what I want you to understand: you have complete control over all 7. Age does not stop your peripheral nervous system from healing, it simply requires you to give it what it needs, especially after the sun goes down. If this video helped you, please smash that like button. It tells me that this kind of real clinical information is reaching the people who need it most. Subscribe to this channel if you want to keep receiving practical, science backed health information designed specifically for adults over 60. I publish new videos every day. Share this video with someone you care about. Think about the people in your life who have ever mentioned their hands falling asleep at night, or who wake up trying to shake feeling back into their fingers. A single share from you tonight could change the entire trajectory of their health. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 habits will you address first? Is it the blood pressure tracking, the elbow position, the magnesium? Share your answer in the comments. I read every single one. Remember, aging does not take away your nervous system's ability to protect itself. It simply reminds you to give it what it needs, not just during the day. Take care of yourself.